Finally, let's have a quick look at how to turn our analyses and our visualizations into interactive dashboards or web apps. So I've created a little example of this using a package that is called Flex Dashboard. If we just begin by opening up an internet browser, then I'm actually just going to Google Flex Dashboard here. Flex Dashboard. And then I'll see that here on this subsection of the RStudio website, we have some really nice documentation for the Flex Dashboard package, which is for easy interactive dashboards for R. So we can see how to use this package here. And we can also see some examples of dashboards built with this package up here. So as we can see, we can use this package to create dashboards that show different visualizations, where people can click between different tabs. So here we get a table. We can even make it possible for people to select different subsets of our data. And in general, any visualizations we can imagine creating in R, it's really possible for us to make available to people in interactive dashboards like this. So let's go over to our materials, and I'm just going to open up our RStudio project file again here. And then first before we open the dashboard itself, I'm actually just going to open this dashboard_prep file here, and then I'm going to click run and then run all. This file here will just do the sort of splitting up of the texts into single words that we saw previously, the calculation of term frequencies, etc. And then it will save out the results to the data_processed folder. The reason for that is that in general, any sort of heavy, costly computation we want to make available to people in our dashboard, if we can do that costly computation before running the dashboard itself, then we want to do it in advance so that the dashboard can just read in the results of that. If we don't do that, we might end up with a dashboard that's really slow for our users to use. So now let's open up the code for the actual dashboard, the dashboard_example file here. So we can see that this looks more or less like the R Markdown files we saw previously. And that is because it is itself an R Markdown file. It's just an R Markdown file that has a specific kind of output, namely a dashboard. So again, most of this analysis code here will look very familiar compared to the previous videos, albeit with a few quirks like this called render data table and stuff. So there's a few additional things that you will need to learn that's specific to the Flex Dashboard package, and in this case actually to Shiny, which is another package that's responsible for that will help you create interactive web apps. So there's a few extra things you will need to learn in order to build interactive websites. But the benefit of starting from R here is that you can use what you already know, and then you just have to learn a little bit of extra stuff in order to be able to turn it into interactive websites and dashboards and so on. So you'll see there's a button here that says Run Document. I'm going to click that now. And that is going to run the document and actually create the dashboard and open it up in the browser that RStudio has built in. I'm just going to click the Open in Browser button up here. That is going to open it up in my actual web browser instead of inside RStudio's web browser. I'll just do that because that tends to look a bit nicer. So here we have the example Flex dashboard I created to interact with text downloaded from GRETIL. So if I click the Overview tab here, I'll see I've created a little tab here that has a bar chart of the number of the words in the text. So we can see the actual words in the table over here. If we click Inspect Texts, we'll see that we have two interactive data tables. This one has the raw text and the clean text and the verse and line information. We can see the term frequencies over here. And over here, we can actually select which text we're looking at. So if I look at RigVeda, it looks like this. I can also search. So maybe I'm interested in yoga terms in the RigVeda, how frequently they occur. I've also made a little tab here where you can count the occurrence of specific words. For example, Shakta, as I've shown in the example text here. So here we can count the number of occurrences in the different texts. I should probably have included the term frequency here as well, because of course Mahabharata is just much longer than the others. And then finally, there's a little tab here where you can search in text line by line. So again, maybe I'll just write Shakta here, and then that will show me 389 entries, which means there are 389 lines of text in the documents that we have where that phrase occurs. Here we can see the ones in Rig Veda, Ramayana, and so on and so forth. So this can be so you can also build this search facilities yourself. So this is just an example, and being able to build these kinds of dashboards is really useful, because imagine you only have one person in your team who knows or has the time to learn on the background knowledge to understand how to build these kinds of things in R. Well, dashboards can help you internally in your team. So one person can make the visualizations and make them available to other members of the team, and enable other members of the team to themselves explore different things and play around with key parameters, but without them needing to learn how to use R in the first place.